Hello, ladies and gentlemen. April is almost over. All the new flavors of Ubuntu have finally come out. It's 1804, the Bionic Beaver. The waiting is over. This is a very important line of releases. They are LTS, so the main Ubuntu distribution will be supported for 5 years, all the other flavors for 3 years, and I'm here with Kubuntu 1804. I wanted to look at Kubuntu because KDE has become my favorite desktop environment in the last years. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Also, you might have noticed that I changed the resolution on this video, so for your viewers' convenience, if you're watching this on a very small device. And we will go through a complete install because there are some things I need to do. Please let me change this because I'm okay with you showing everything in English, but at least I want my keyboard layout that I'm used to. Okay, here's the first interesting thing. Which applications would you like to start? Normal, web browsers, utilities, office software, KDE, PM Suite, in addition, internet applications and media players, or minimal. Web browser plus basic utilities and applications. Okay, do you know the Destination Linux podcast? They had Martin Wimpress on their show a week ago or something, and he said minimal installation is basically the Ubuntu core OS, the desktop environment, and Firefox. I go with that. For reasons I might talk later. Install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware. This is kind of important and kind of a big deal for free software because you are installing proprietary software that you might need to get your machine working because some drivers, especially for Wi-Fi cards, are proprietary. So let's bite the apple. Do I need it? I need it. Okay. MP3 is kind of weird because the patent has run out, but I don't know what's the legal condition at the moment, if MP3 is now a kind of free software or not. Dum, 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 dum. I'm waiting for it to ask me for all this privacy stuff. You might have heard of the discussion if it's okay that Ubuntu asks your technical specs at installation. I'm waiting for this to show up. Installation type. This has always been a little too basic for me in Ubuntu, but I'm installing this in a virtual machine, so entire disk. Usually I do an extra home partition. Yeah, I want to continue. I'm in Europe. That's okay. Works for me. Your name. So. And he's already copying. Interesting. Oh, bad canonical. Bad canonical. That's not my usual password. You might have guessed. What I typed in is 123, and I expect something to at least warn me that this is crap. Please. Okay, now it's installing. That means I'm going to make coffee, and we will all wait for this to happen. So, I got my coffee. It's not really coffee, it's hot chocolate. I don't drink that much coffee because I don't really like the taste. Now burn me, internet, burn me! Okay, installation is still going, but it looks like he's already done. Is he? I thought I'd get that nice shell. Also, I'm missing the here, you know. Where did he ask for my system specs? He didn't. I really have no big opinions in that matter while we're talking about this. I'm okay with the maintainer knowing what machine I'm running, so they know what architectures and specs they can concentrate. On the other hand, I think you're opening the doorway to hell a little more with every little thing you give them. I know that developers are kind people, I hope. I think so, and I hope. But every community has its fair share of a-holes. If you can't find the a-hole in your special community, watch out, it might be yourself. I'm nodding to the microphone. This is stupid already. Okay, what I'm really looking forward to is to see, because I'm a really big fan of Linux Mint. Linux Mint 19 won't have a KDE edition. And I want to know if this is a complete building, if you know what I mean. If there are things I have to twitch for myself, or if the system will be in a state where I can say, I can give this to anybody and their grandma, and they will be able to work with it. Let's see. Let's see if there will be any nitpicks in a few seconds. No! Okay, I already like that, because in Debian and in Arch, I'm at Debian at the moment, I have been with Arch for almost a year, since a few weeks ago. I had to find this myself to get this nice background image. I like that. And still shame on you, Canonical, for letting 123 go through as a password. Overall, I thought the installation process was quite nice, because, yeah, I'm now used to installing Arch and Debian. Debian is not that hard to install. Arch is. This was pleasant, and it didn't take that long, I thought. I was to the bathroom, I made my hot chocolate. Around 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, something like that. That's really okay for a complete system install. And there it is. One thing I already knew, and I really like it, is that they went with the black theme. Let's talk about themes in KDE for a moment. If you like this theme, do yourself a favor and leave it as it is, because this is one of the downfalls of KDE. You can fine-tune the heck out of it, and it's not based on GTK, it's based on Qt. And in Qt, the theme is the complete package, how your buttons look like, how your scroll bars look like, what colors you use. In KDE, it's all different. You can change things, but then you have to look out for a matching GTK theme. Look at all this. It's really good. If you know what you want, it's perfect. But if you're a newbie, you might look into this and think, oh God, I'm never opening this again. Never again. But it looks really complete for me. Online accounts is quite nice. For example, you can create here a Google account. You can log into a Google account, and it will appear in the file manager, and you will have the possibility to access your Google Drive. Nice and easy. Okay, as far as connectivity goes, as far as everything goes, all the options you might need are here. Of course, the fonts, the colors, desktop behavior, and while you have all the options, you're completely allowed to leave them alone. And I have to say, I'm not a newbie, I'm not an expert either, I would say. Okay, and whenever you know you screwed up, click this defaults, and everything will be fine again and fixed again. Also, the hot corners don't really work in a virtual environment. It's like GNOME. If you stay up here, all your applications will appear. What's now so great about KDE? Everything. I love this thing. It's the possibilities you have, and you don't have to go through this thing here. You can do everything with it. For example, this is a standard Redmond layout, but you can also say, I want something like GNOME. So let's add another empty panel, switch it to the other side, make it small, and let this be my place for all my applications. You can fine-tune the hell out of this, and I love it. Okay, center. At one time it was not really argue, it was a kind of a screaming joke that my KDE environment looks too much like XFCE. Okay, and I'll go with XFCE style for the moment. Don't put it there. And you have lots and lots and lots of widgets. You can put them on your desktop. You can put them anywhere. At the moment, I want to have an application, not a menu, but a window list only with icon only task manager. That's what I want. Okay. At the moment, it's empty because there are no applications running. Let's look what we have here. The Firefox, for example. And now we'll take the time, right click. Don't leave me alone. Don't be buggy. Did I close it by accident? What's happening? I think it just needed longer than I expected it to be. Okay, close this one and we'll pin this one down so it will stay here. Okay, this is the standard Ubuntu, and another thing, the Ubuntu flavor of Firefox. It's quite a good flavor. Okay, please stay in the background until I say I need you. That's okay, and that's basically the only program we really installed. Graphics, what does it give me? Okay, these are all system applications. This is the image viewer, the document viewer, Scanlight for scanning. It's okay, I have a scanner that works good on Linux. Okay, that was exactly what I expected. Multimedia. The K through B, good disk burner, Pavu control. It's the same you might know from Mate and from GNOME. It's a really good fine-tuning device, but I have to say, the one in the... my bad. Oh, please apologize. I'm stupid. You can't really see what I'm doing there, because my webcam is over there. Okay, therefore... let's remove this little thing, because if you want to play with panels, you will find out yourself. So now you can see what you want. And here you have a... leave me alone. You can have a... this is quite okay. Goes to 100, but you can also say, I want to raise it all up to 150 if you have a laptop with low-level speakers. And you need that extra power. Office, Ocular, again, it's the document viewer. Yeah, that is what I call a basic installation. The terminal is called Console. You should know that. Archiving tool, simple nano-like text editor, calculator, and a screenshot. Yeah, that meets my my expectations of something I would call basic installation. So let's look into the software center, because I don't know how widespread KDE is, because I see much people talking about how they like GNOME and how they love Ubuntu Mate. By the way, Ubuntu Mate is another distribution. If you want to start Linux, you should look at. But Mate is great, but KDE is my baby. I love it. And I came from XFC, so I was used to zero lag. KDE 5 has gotten really, really good. You might know a free desktop org, the website where you can download fonts and free background images and so on and so forth. The cool thing is this package manager is directly connected to that site, to the store.kde.org subdivision, which is basically the same site, just another skin. So you can download all your widgets, and you can download extensions for the programs that are already installed. For example, I've been talking about Okular 2 times, the really great document viewer. It fused everything. You can watch PSD files with it. You can watch of course you can watch PDF files with it. But a friend of mine who's a programmer and he's maintaining the servers of our web radio station wanted me to write down some documentation. It was about psychology, how to do interviews, and he asked me, can you do it all in Markdown? And I looked into the Markdown syntax and thought, okay, it's not that hard. And then I just searched for Markdown and found this, because this is a plugin for Okular in order to open and read Markdown. Great help. And that's it. It's all the little details you have in KDE. GNOME is good. You might remember my Debian 9 during the Freeze XFCE video. This machine, it's right over there. It has wandered off to GNOME, and my wife really likes GNOME. She can work great with it. But what I don't like about GNOME is that they're taking more and more functionality away, and KDE seems to add more and more functionality. And that's what I like. For example, I want a different application menu, and it's all here. Perfect. To the Office. Usually, LibreOffice comes with most distributions. LibreOffice 6 looks terrible on KDE. It has a very Windowsy feel. I don't know what it looks like in other environments. I'd like to recommend to you Calligra. Double L? Double L. Yep. It's not that different from LibreOffice. The user interface is a little bit different, but nothing you can't handle. But I see there's no PowerPoint option. That's a shame. There's still one thing I want to find out, because I've read the instructions and the release notes one time before, that the great new feature in Bionic Beaver is the snap package. The snap package. It's a distro-agnostic package file format, similar to Flatpak, and Snap is Canonical's take on it. What shall I say? Pardon me. I'm a little bit annoyed that Canonical is trying to do its own thing again, because we already have a distro-agnostic way of packaging things, Flatpak, and that's what I use on my Debian machine. And there's a nice backend you can have. There's a dot. I copied the dot. Yes, please be so kind. On the other hand, I like the idea, because you might know the hassle of installing something like Skype on Linux. There are many ways that work, but not all of them are that easy. So I appreciate the possibility to have something like Flatpak and Snap. For the more uncommon programs like Discord, I use Discord via Flatpak, and there it is. And on the other hand, I like the possibility to have a stable system, but applications that roll along, that update themselves. That's something I like the idea. It's similar to how your phone works. Android updates don't come that often. Program updates do come that often. So you have a choice for the first time to say, I want it from the repositories or I want it from the Snap shop. For example, let's Krita. I'm sure it's in both of it. Unfortunately not. I thought it was. Okay, that's for snaps, but on the other hand, I know that you can find almost anything you need, all the programs you need via the Discoverer. If you're a newbie, you probably won't do a minimal install either. VLC players here, VLC plays everything. So right away you install the system and you can go browsing with a good browser, not Edge crap. Firefox is okay. VLC player, all your medias are there. You can choose between many different Office suites. Calligra is just mine. All the tools you will need are here. You have a flexible desktop. That's obviously not so heavy on resources. Let's look what it does. 0.6, that's nothing. I run Plasma 5.8 via Debian on an 10-year-old machine. If you're asking what I'm doing, if no windows are active, you can just put anything you want and this little thing will come up. It's and also your folders. That's basically the application search, the searching for data. I love this thing. It's one of the things, one more thing that sells me on KDE. I should do a video with the reasons why I love KDE, because I'm just rambling at this point. Now I lost my line. What did I want to do? I wanted to look into the info center because that's always a nice place to be. 5.12.4. This is also a long-term release, 5.12. 5.8 was the last long-term release. 5.9 is also the long-term version of Qt. That's the framework on which everything is built. 4.15 is the stable kernel at the moment. Graphics is always a thing to consider. Oh! Mesa 18, RC5. That's even further up the hill than what I have on Debian at the moment. In Debian, I'm at 17.4 or something. And Wayland session, they don't consider it stable. It's not supported. You can install it. It's written on the homepage how to do it, but they don't recommend using it. It's still a little tricky. I made a video a while back about KDE 5.12 Wayland and how it works. It works most of the time except when it doesn't. That's still the state of KDE Wayland. Okay, conclusion. I like what I see. I like the simplicity. It's my KDE desktop. You have to get used to it. The reason is that most other desktop environments just use the GNOME applications like the file manager and so on and so forth. But that's not KDE's fault. They have their own things, and since they're in Qt, it makes sense to run them in a Qt environment. The programs I use on a daily basis are Krita, KDE Live. I use a lot, so it all Qt programs. So it makes sense for me to use them in a Qt environment. They feel good that way. Distro-wise, I can imagine maybe this might jump out of the VirtualBox onto my real machine, running it on Metal as my daily driver. I can imagine that. I'm on Debian testing. I have the same desktop, but Debian testing will roll along for at least another year until this testing cycle gets stable. And then I have 3 to 5 years. This LTS is supported for 3 years. So once the next LTS comes out, 20.4, you have 1 year to change. You can't say, I skipped this version, I'll jump on the next one. You can do this with the main Ubuntu version, which is maintained for 5 years. But there's also another thing. KDE Neon. KDE Neon is based on top of Ubuntu also, and it has an extra repository hacked into it to always get you the newest KDE applications, because all the system applications you see here and some of the productive applications like Reader, Kdenlive, and so on and so forth are maintained by KDE, and they will always give you the newest one. You can also choose between rolling along with the short-term desktop versions or staying on the LTS desktop. That's really nice. The thing I don't know, their version at the moment also supports 5.12 as a desktop, but it's still based on 16.04. I've been looking and searching, and I haven't found anything, no plans from them what to do, but I think we can expect them to build their next-gen KDE Neon distribution that is based on 18.04 and will continue doing the job. Or maybe they try an update from 16.04 to 18.04. That's a brave undertaking, but it usually seems to work. And I really like what I see here. I told you I'm not a fan of... I was not a fan of Ubuntu 16.04 because it came out in a time where things just were torn apart. But this looks very okay for me. That's what I wanted to see. Flatpak backend integrates Flatpak applications into Discover. So if I'd install that too, you will have 3 main repositories where you can choose your stuff from. The distribution repository with all its super stable, super maintained packages, the Flatpak repository, the Snap repository to get the latest and greatest distro agnostic common with all the recommendations they need. I like that. I'm really... Every time a LTS comes out, they talk about how Linux can't get any better. I'm really excited what will come next, because this is something I really like that. And just with the basic install, this is already more functionality that you get from a basic Windows install. Oh, I said it. Oh, burned me. I can see everybody and my grandma using this and feeling okay, because this Ubuntu is a very important distribution, more important than Debian. I don't know why everyone is pulling their derivatives from Ubuntu, not from Debian directly, but that's the way it is. I don't have to understand anything. And since Linux Mint will drop the KDE edition, this will be the way to go. I'm fine with it. I'm really thinking I will leave this virtual machine as it is. I will try a few kinks, install a few applications, maybe do a thing or two, and then I will decide if I stay on Debian testing or if I install this, and I know life will be okay for the next 3 years. Or I will wait what the KDE team is doing themselves to KDE Neon. But these are just nitpicks. Linux is all about choice. This is really good. Really good. I like it. These shall be my parting words. Thank you for watching. Auf Wiedersehen.